your pants off, Quite People. It's time for the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. Coming to you live from a secret dungeon studio in Port Chester, New York. Once again, Codeman.
Good day, Franklies! Welcome to the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show, where we talk about all the things that happened on Quite Frankly this week. My name is Cody. Let's get right into it, shall we? Ooh-wee! Monday was a hot one. Frank got all hopped up in his yellow shirt and took a look at the latest story involving the UN on Monday's episode, Fear City, Myths and Legends.
Here's another one that I think is ridiculous, but it's happening. Fox News reports the UN urges U.S. to tamp down use of force by officers in Portland, warns of human rights violations. How about you shut the fuck up and close off the borders in Europe and stop with the migrant crisis and stop molesting children in Africa? How about that, UN? Shut the fuck up. The UN's comments come as the Justice Department announced it would open an investigation into the conduct of the federal officers of Portland and Washington, D.C. The United Nations has urged the U.S. to stop using what critics say is the excessive force on protesters and journalists during ongoing demonstrations in cities including Portland, Oregon. Well, go out there, UN, and write yourself a strongly worded letter and then cram it up your ass.
Whoa, Frank. Listen, I know the UN isn't really doing much for anyone these days, but you know who is? Your hardworking Governor Andrew Cuomo. Do you think you rip on Andrew Cuomo enough?
I don't think I rip on people like Governor Andrew Cuomo enough. This Gavone monkey man son of a bitch. Now we're going to New York 12 Long Island because I want to just give you a little bit more of an example of the complete mental illness that liberalism is. And here it is. This is what people want more of. Governor Cuomo, 4 bars, lose liquor license for COVID-19 violations. Listen to this man tell you all the arbitrary hoops you have to jump through in order to open up your bar for business.
To be a bar, you had to have food available. Soups, sandwiches, etc. More than just hors d'oeuvres, chicken wings. You had to have some substantive food. The lowest level of substantive food were sandwiches.
There you go. So if you open a bar, you have to at least have soup there.
Soup's not a meal.
Because there's nothing like having a nice creamy tomato bisque to chase a shot of Jameson that you really wanted, you just needed after a nice long day of hard work. That's if you were lucky enough to be allowed to work at all under this monkey's rule. So you see, that's it. If you just serve a slice of cheese between 2 slices of bread, then you won't get COVID. Soon, he'll tell you with that soup, if you don't provide, a dessert, you have to close down too.
No soup for you.
There's no rhyme or reason for it. When Bloomberg got rid of the sugary drinks, at least it was for the stated purpose of at least saying that you're fighting high blood pressure and diabetes. Cuomo wants you to believe that if we make sure you're serving sandwiches, less people will catch a virus.
Frank, I don't see what the big deal is. This place is awesome. Look, I've got myself some beers. They got sandwiches, they got soup, and I got a dessert on the way. Plus, it makes me immune to the virus. So, as far as this guy's concerned, Cuomo was right. Thanks, Andrew Cuomo. I couldn't get sandwiches here before, but now I can. Ooh-wee, now that was good. Well, Tuesday was a great episode, Suppressed Cures and the Bar Method, featuring Tori Says. Let's listen to what Tori says.
One of the biggest things that was uncovered from the New Mexico ranch that Epstein had was the whole DNA seeding thing. I'm totally open to however the hell that story develops because you can just smell the stink from behind the wall. You know something's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, and something not, my listeners kind of know, I studied under, and he's a really good friend of mine, the first person in the world that has actually cloned a human being. I know how to clone a human being. I know how to strip a cell from its DNA. I know how to insert it. I know how to make it split. I worked right under Dr. Zavos. And so, this is, this is stranger than you would ever think. And a lot of us say, "Oh, I'm ready. I know." No, you have no idea. Like I tell my listeners, this vaccine, it's blood-derived products. I'm going to claim that I'm a Jehovah's Witness, so that way they don't give it to me. But think about it. Our nation is the one that exports 75% of the blood supply for the whole world, milking us dry. And now they've put it in the CARES Act to promote legislation. They've put it in the legislation to promote harvesting of your blood and your plasma. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. So that goes into crazy realm territory because it's outside of what reality allows people to digest. So this is why we're seeing the stupid Russia dossier. This is why we're just sticking with the girls being maimed and, people being raped, because that's the only place where people can digest that without throwing up in their mouth.
Oh, well, find out more what Tori Says has to say at her website, ToriSays.com. The madness continued on Wednesday's episode, One Big Science Fiction Murder Mystery, featuring returning guest Jeffrey Peterson. He shared this incredible story about something he witnessed at a private Democratic fundraising event.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, these stories, they sound absolutely insane if you've never heard them before. And so it makes it very easy for people who either don't know you, or the people who don't know me, or other current or former liberals to point at my old tweet and say, okay, Peterson's a crazy guy. Or like my former friends apparently say, I heard Napolitano's group said, Peterson is off the rails. He's gone crazy, right? Because I tweeted out this stuff about having been at an event with Nancy Pelosi and hearing everybody talk about cloning. And I realize it sounds crazy, but I'll tell you exactly what I heard. I was standing right next to Nancy Pelosi. I heard her talking about it. They were flipping through a book. It had a bunch of pages of pictures in it, and there were these weird-looking creatures. And I realized to myself, those are not normal things. They have multiple limbs coming out. They have multiple, very strange things, right?
Jeez.
They had some pages in the book that looked like people. They looked like very strange people with like eyes that were too large, and they were laughing about it. They were intoxicated as always, because you have to know these people drink like crazy, right? Napolitano herself, when she's governor of Arizona.
Well, Nancy Pelosi always looks like she's 6 sheets to the wind.
That's what I was going to say, Nancy. When we bring the bill.
They were laughing because they were quite tipsy and looking through the book, and there were very, very strange images on those pages. This is something that if you would have seen it, you would remember.
Oh, I would definitely remember that. Now, Thursday night episode, Thursday Night Roulette, suburbs, funerals, and the post office, Frank took a look at the very somber event, the funeral for recently deceased Congressman John Lewis.
I don't know if you know about this, but John Lewis died recently. Who? Not really that important to the national discussion, not really relevant, but they will make him relevant and they will completely milk this for everything it is. Listen to this 37-second clip of Barack Obama supposedly celebrating the life of John Lewis. Listen to this.
But even as we sit here, there are those in power who are doing their darndest to discourage people from voting by closing polling locations and targeting minorities and students with restrictive ID laws and attacking our voting rights with surgical precision, even undermining the Postal Service in the run-up to an election that's going to be dependent on mail-in ballots so people don't get sick.
So he was really channeling his inner Mussolini for that one. And then, of course, that stare. Look at how he ends. Look at the rage. This man has always been a hateful green-eyed monster. A Fabian socialist, hateful man. And only now has he, just like everybody else around him, he's been able to take off that silky smooth facade and really show you the monster underneath. The post office. The USPS is trending right now on Twitter. Ilhan Omar is saying we need to protect and save the USPS. Save for what? For what? From what? I think I am the only one in this country that still mails handwritten letters because of my Patreon tiers. I think I'm the only one who still mails handwritten letters. I think the people who write to me, and then I write to, are the only ones who are using the USPS.
Oh, that was a fantastic and subtle plug for the Patreon. If you want to find out more, head over to quitefrankly.tv, click on sponsors, or check out this old commercial.
Well, go to patreon.com/quitefrankly, select your tier, put your name here, get signed up. It's that easy.
Friday, another mythical Fleckus Friday. Frank sat down with Fleckus of Fleckus Talks and got me thinking, I wonder if there's any strategic advantage in being a silent majority.
There's no strategic advantage right now in being a silent majority. Nobody respects that silent majority anymore. And going forward, who knows? But
and also, like, with that whole thing, it's like it's almost like, oh, I'm just one person. Like, someone else will step up. Like, I'm just going to say yes. And we've talked about this before in the past about, like, the global consciousness, that kind of thing, like a situation where there's like a collective consciousness of like large groups of people, and it's like everyone kind of, I think, has their own spiritual war in their own mind or their own heart, where they have to kind of they have a conflict and there is a spiritual war they're fighting, they're battling, and it's like if each person wins that and does the right thing in their own personal life, I think it ripples more than just one person, especially when communities start doing it, and it'll cycle us up to a higher level if everyone wins their own personal spiritual war. So it's like, it might be easy, like, oh, I'm not going to say anything, but I know enough people are stepping up. It's like the stepping up of one person will lead to the stepping up of another, the more comfortable for the next person, for the next person, for the next person. So I don't think people realize how important it is in their own personal lives. Like, it's your own spiritual war. If you can win that, it will ripple bigger than just your own life. And then when everyone starts winning their spiritual war, I think we zoom up to a higher level of consciousness, and we get out of this low vibration, evil, dark stuff, and we just boom to the light.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a week it was. There were some great calls all week long, and this is the part of the show where we take a look at some of the best calls of the week.
Let's take some calls. Calls like that. Taking all of your calls. Calls like this just make me feel amazing.
Hit it.
What do you think the functional reason for having yourself cloned or anybody cloned would actually be? My working theory was based on the movie The Prestige. You can better live two separate lives and always have an alibi for where you were. No, I wasn't eating. It's impossible that I was eating children in Fiji in February. I was at the State of the Union. You can check the tapes. There I am, dressed in white. Hey, Michael from Maryland, what's up, man?
So I watched The Prestige last week on your advice. Great movie. But I started laughing because you know that scene where Angier goes up to visit Tesla, I think the second time, and there's that huge field of hats?
Yes.
I'm just imagining that, like a field of dicks. and he's, they had their talk or whatever, and all right, just come back later, your machine will be done. Mr. Angier, don't forget your dick.
Don't forget, which one's mine? They're all your dicks, Mr. Angier.
Now, King, I know you called me a dweeb a few weeks ago, but you know what? I'm going to highlight your calls anyway. Here's a call from King.
Hey, what's going on, King? You remember that movie Jack with Robin Williams where he's a little kid, but he's growing old so quick that he's already like 75 years old at his high school graduation?
No.
Oh, okay.
Short and sweet. Just how I like it. Oh, wait, I think there's more to that call. Play the rest of it.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
Couple things. Gonna make it real quick. I'm not gonna drone on and on and on like Broads and the other people there. First of all, cats, listen to me. Yo, before that baby gets here, get rid of that fucking thing. Put it in a garbage bag and throw it out on the Kraft Bronx Expressway, all right? Those things are evil. They crawl in babies' cribs and suck their breath out.
I heard.
Get that little girl a puppy, man. As soon as she's born, get her a puppy right when she's born. You think a cat's going to protect your baby, man? You get that little girl a puppy, whatever it is. Whatever your preference of a dog is. I'm not even saying like what you should get as a dog. You get that girl a puppy and let them grow up together. She'll have a thing there that will always like be there for her and protect her. It'll be great. It'll be beautiful.
St. Michael Sasquatch, what's up, man?
What's up with you, my friend Frank?
I'm okay. What's your main thought tonight?
I talked to William Shatner today on Twitter.
I'm not much of a Trekkie there, St. Michael, but that's cool that you talked to Shatner today.
Oh, you know what? He said that he was watching you tonight. By the way,
William Shatner was watching me tonight.
Yeah, he is right now.
How do you know that?
Because he told me.
How did he tell you? Did he tell you how did he tell you?
He direct tweeted me.
William Shatner sent you a private direct message on Twitter to tell you he's watching me.
Correct. Tonight that he's watching you.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he is. Hello to William Shatner.
It's William Shatner.
All I would say is, if he asks you for money, don't send it to him. Okay.
Oh, you think it's fake, eh?
Okay. Have a good one, my man.
But I love you.
All right. Have a good one, and send my best to your wife as well. Take care. There you go. That's St. Michael Sasquatch, who is carrying on an intimate relationship now, friendship, of course, with William Shatner. Travis from Cincinnati. What's going on, Travis?
Hey, what's going on, Frank?
Hey, how are you?
How is everything? Good. I listened to that last caller that you had with the woman said that her husband packed up and left.
Yeah.
She said something that really struck me, and it was that, everybody seems to be listening. They get something and they just roll with it. People aren't discerning anything. People aren't using logic. And I'll go to the Bible. The Bible says a man's heart deceives him every time. Every single time. It just seems like every time I turn around, somebody's being deceived.
There's a lot of soul searching going on right now, and some people are going to the wrong places, and I can't blame them in one respect, because we're not cultured for this. We're not conditioned for this.
Nope. Our grandparents were, but we're not.
Yes.
But I will tell you this. Do not waver, people that are listening to this. Do not waver. If it comes to your front door, stand strong. And God is the first place to start, but an AR-15 is the next place.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't want to sound too crazy, but we have to take a stand. We have to take a stand, because if we don't, where does it end?
Oh, there were so many great calls this week. Now it's time for my favorite part of the show, where I get to take your calls. Go ahead, the phone lines are open. Call in now. The board's already lighting up. It's like Christmas in August. All right, well, who do I like? Let's go Francisco in NY. Francisco, you are on the air.
Hi, Cody. First-time caller, long-time listener. I wanted to ask you about Frank's tattoos. Does Frank realize that the eye in the triangle represents the Illuminati? I've been studying this ever since I was red-pilled a few weeks ago, so I'm very good at symbiology. And if Frank is one of them, I swear to God, I'll start calling him a shill in random comment sections around the internet. Thank you, Cody. Please, I want some clarity on this.
Well, Francisco, thanks for the call. Francisco, I'd love to address this for you. However, it was actually addressed in a comment made. It was in a comment on a couple weeks back, and it was answered by one man behind the curtain, co-producer on Quite Frankly, as well as this wrap-up show, Abe Sinclair. Abe Sinclair writes, with further knowledge of the esoteric and astrotheological origins and the iconography behind the capstone and the Eye of Horus itself, you would surely more clearly recognize it as a light, not dark occult symbol. When you add the pyramid to the symbol, it's a whole different and more dark understanding. It's adorable that you folks have finally recognizing this stuff, though. Been waiting 15 years. I would refer you to Mark Passio or Jordan Maxwell for a deeper understanding in regard to occult and astrotheological symbology. You're welcome. Well, to tell you the truth, Francisco, this is all really making my head hurt, so the phone lines are closed. We're not taking any more calls. But since we are reading comments, let's look at this new segment we have on the show called Comments of the Week. This is a part of the show where we take a look at some of the best comments from last week's Quite Frankly wrap-up show. Let's see what you, the fans at home, had to say. I love this comment from R.P. McMurphy. I just got my Stop Communism t-shirt just like the one Cody is wearing. In red, talk about serendipity, best merch ever. I love it, R.P. McMurphy, and I'm glad you love your shirt. I know I love mine. All right, now here's a great comment from a name. It's in Chinese, so I can't read it. Brevity, sometimes truly the essence of wit. What a great, pithy wrap-up. A new listener from down east Maine. Thank you. I don't know how to say your name. From Earl's daughter, well done, thumbs up, great layout, highlights. Here's a good comment from Patty O'Brien. Love this show, Frank. You have a great style that is addicting. God bless you. What wonderful words. Thank you, Patty. EO2 Dave says, that was funny, Frank. Couldn't have said it better myself. And my favorite comment of the week, Sue Hill saying, love the wrap-up show. Great idea. Well, Sue, you won this week's comment of the week. Yeah, there we go. Well, that about does it for me on this week's episode of the Quite Frankly wrap-up show. Be sure to check out quitefrankly.tv. That is your one-stop shop for all things Quite Frankly. QuiteFrankly.tv is the place to be to catch the latest episode, the latest blog entries, links to Patreon and PayPal. Click on Forum to check out the Reddit page, or head on over to the merch store and get a t-shirt just like the one that I'm wearing. You are so good looking. Quite Frankly streams live weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern wherever you get your podcasts. So until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.